Hello, everyone. I'm so happy you're here today. Thank you for spending this time with me. Today, I want to ask you a simple question. Have you ever watched a child learn something new? Maybe you saw a child looking at a small bird. The child stopped walking. The child looked up. Then came a question. What is that? A few minutes later, the child saw a flower. What is this? Then a big truck passed by. Where is it going? The questions did not stop. Why? How? Where? What? Children are always looking, always listening, always asking. The world is full of new things for them. Can we think about one little boy? One morning, he walked to the park with his father. On the way, he saw a small yellow flower. He stopped. What is that flower? His father told him the name. The boy smiled. A little later, he heard a bird singing. He looked up. What kind of bird is that? His father answered again. Then they reached the park. The boy saw an old man flying a kite. Again, he had a question. How does the kite stay in the sky? His father laughed. You have many questions today. The little boy smiled. I want to know. Can I ask you something? When did many adults stop saying those words? I want to know. As we grow older, something changes. We become afraid of simple questions. We become afraid of looking foolish. We want to know everything already. But children do not worry about that. They simply ask. They simply try. They simply learn. Maybe this is why children can teach us something important about learning English. They do not have a perfect plan. They do not sit down and say, I must become the best learner. They look, they listen, they try, they make mistakes, then they try again. And while they are doing all of this, something wonderful happens. They learn. Can I tell you one more thing? Maybe learning English does not always need to be so difficult. Maybe we have forgotten something simple, something we knew when we were children. How to be curious, how to enjoy small things, how to try without worrying, how to smile when we learn something new. Today, I want to share 7 things children do better than many English learners. These are not difficult study rules. They are simple ways to learn. And maybe they can help us remember something we lost a long time ago. So, let us look at the world like children again, with open eyes, with open ears, and with one simple question. What can I learn today? The first thing children do well is very simple. They are curious. Can I ask you something? When you see a word you do not know, how do you feel? Do you feel worried? Do you feel tired? Do you think, oh no, another difficult word? Many learners feel that way, but children often see new things differently. Can we think about one little girl? One afternoon, she was reading a short story with her mother. The story was about a small boat. The boat moved across the sea. Then the girl saw a new word. She stopped. She pointed at the word. What does this mean? Her mother explained it. The little girl smiled. Then she continued reading. A few minutes later, another new word appeared. Again. She stopped. What about this word? Her mother laughed. You ask many questions. The girl smiled. I like new words. Her mother looked surprised. Why? The little girl thought for a moment. Then she said, because every new word tells me something. Can I ask you another question? What if we looked at new English words that way? Not as problems, not as tests, but as small doors. Every new word opens one small door. Behind the door, there may be a new story, a new idea, a new feeling. Children love opening doors. They want to know what is behind them. Maybe we can learn the same way. When you hear a new word, do not immediately say, "This is too difficult." Instead, ask, "What does this word want to show me?" That small question can change the way you learn. Can I tell you one more thing? Curious learners do not need to know everything. They only need to want to know one more thing. One word, one sentence, one story. That is enough. Think about a small cat. The cat sees a box. What does it do? It walks closer. It looks inside. Why? Because it is curious. It does not stand far away and worry. It goes closer. Maybe learning English can be like that. Go a little closer. Look inside the story. Listen to the sentence again. Ask one simple question. Children are not afraid to say, "I don't know," because after those words, something beautiful can come next. Can you show me? Can you tell me? Can I try? These are the words of a learner. So the next time you find something new, do not close the book. Do not walk away. Look a little closer. Stay curious. Ask one more question. Because every question can become a new beginning. That is the first thing children do so well. They stay curious. And because they stay curious, they never stop learning. The second thing children do well is something beautiful. They learn through play. Can I ask you something? Does learning always need to feel like work? Many adults think so. They sit at a desk. They open a book. They look at the clock. Then they say, "I must study." But children learn in a different way. Can we think about two little brothers? One rainy afternoon, they were playing on the floor. They had small toy cars. One car was red, one was blue, one was yellow. The older brother picked up the red car. He said, "Red car?" The younger brother laughed. "Red car?" Then he picked up the blue one. "Blue car." Soon, they were driving the cars around the room. "Go. Stop. Fast. Slow." They laughed. They shouted. They played for a long time. Their mother watched from the kitchen. She smiled. The boys did not know they were studying English. They were simply having fun. But they were learning. Can I ask you something? When did learning become so serious? When did we forget that learning can be fun? Children remember. They sing songs. They play games. They tell funny stories. They use new words while they enjoy themselves. And because they enjoy the moment, they want to do it again. Maybe we can learn from them. You do not always need a difficult lesson. Sometimes, listen to a funny English story. Sing a simple song. Say English words while you cook. Name the things you see while you walk. Make learning part of something you enjoy. Can I tell you one more thing? When learning feels heavy, we often want to stop. But when learning feels fun, we want to come back. That is why children can learn for hours. They are not watching the clock. They are enjoying the moment. Think about water. When water moves, it finds a way forward. It does not push too hard. It simply flows. Maybe learning can feel like that too. Easy, natural, enjoyable. You can still work hard. You can still grow. But you do not have to lose your smile. So tomorrow, try something different. Do one thing you enjoy in English. Listen to a story that makes you laugh. Say a funny sentence. Play with the words. Enjoy the sound. Because learning does not always need to feel like work. Sometimes, the best learning happens when you forget that you are learning. That is the second thing children do so well. They learn through play, and they keep smiling while they grow. The third thing children do well is very important. They ask simple questions. Can I ask you something? Have you ever wanted to ask a question, but stayed quiet? Maybe you thought, this question is too easy. Everyone else probably knows the answer. I don't want to look foolish. Many adults feel this way, but children are different. Can we think about one little boy? One evening, he was reading an English book with his older sister. He saw a sentence, I am happy. The boy pointed at the word am. What is this? His sister explained it. A few minutes later, he saw another sentence, I am hungry. Again, he pointed at the word. Why is am here again? His sister explained it. Then another question came, and another, and another. Finally, his sister laughed. You really ask a lot of questions. The boy smiled. Yes, because I don't know yet. His sister became quiet. Then she smiled too. That is a very good reason to ask. Can I ask you another question? Why are adults sometimes afraid to say, I don't know? Those three words can feel uncomfortable, but children say them easily. I don't know. Then they add something important. Can you tell me? That is how learning begins. Maybe we can learn the same way. You do not need to ask difficult questions. Simple questions are powerful. What does this mean? Why is this word here? Can you say it again? Can I try? Every simple question takes you one step forward. Can I tell you one more thing? A question is like a small light. Imagine walking through a dark room. You cannot see everything, but you turn on one small light. Now you can see a little more. Then another light, and another. Soon, the room is not so dark. Questions work the same way. One answer helps you see one small thing. Then another question helps you see more. Little by little, learning becomes clearer. So do not be afraid of simple questions. Do not worry about looking foolish. A person who asks a question may not know the answer today, but a person who never asks may still not know tomorrow. Children understand this naturally. They ask, they listen, they learn. Then they ask again. That is the third thing children do so well. They are not afraid to ask simple questions, because every question helps them see a little more. The fourth thing children do well is very simple. They use what they know. Can I ask you something? Have you ever wanted to speak English, but thought, I don't know enough words? Many learners wait. They want better grammar, more words, longer sentences. Then they will speak. But children do not usually wait. Can we think about one little girl? She knew only a few English words. One day, her family visited a small park. She saw a tourist sitting on a bench. A little dog was beside him. The girl loved dogs. She wanted to say something, but she knew very little English. She thought for a moment. Then she walked closer. She pointed at the dog. She smiled. Happy dog? The tourist laughed. Yes, he is a very happy dog. The little girl smiled. Then she said, Good dog. The man smiled again. Yes, he is a good dog too. The girl walked back to her mother. She looked very happy. Her mother asked, "Were you speaking English?" The girl nodded. "Yes, only 2 words. But he understood me." "Can I ask you something? Was her English perfect?" "No." "Did she know many words?" "No." But she used what she knew. And something wonderful happened. Communication began. Many adults wait for the perfect sentence. Children use the words they already have. Maybe they know only 3 words. They use 3 words. Maybe they know 1 sentence. They use 1 sentence. And little by little, those small words become longer conversations. Maybe we can learn from them. Do not wait for difficult English. Use easy English today. Do not worry about sounding perfect. Try to share one simple idea. "I'm tired. I like this. Beautiful day. Good story." These sentences are simple. But simple English is still English. Can I tell you one more thing? A small key can open a big door. It does not need to be a big key. It only needs to work. Your simple English is like that. One small sentence can open a conversation. One small word can create a smile. One simple question can help you make a new friend. So use what you know. Do not hide your English until it becomes perfect. Let it come outside. Let it grow. Let it become stronger. Children do this every day. They use a little. Then they learn a little more. Then they use that too. That is the 4th thing children do so well. They do not wait to know everything. They begin with what they know today. The 5th thing children do well is beautiful. They celebrate small wins. Can I ask you something? What do you do when you learn one new word? Do you smile? Do you feel proud? Or do you quickly look for the next word? Many adults forget to celebrate. They always look at what they cannot do. But children are different. Can we think about one little boy? He was learning to read English. Every evening, he sat with his father. They opened a small storybook. At first, the boy could read only a few words. One night, he saw a simple sentence. "The dog is happy." He looked at the words. He read slowly. "The dog is happy." Then he looked at his father. His eyes became big. "I read it." His father smiled. "Yes, you read the whole sentence." The little boy jumped from his chair. He laughed. He ran to his mother. "I read an English sentence." His mother smiled. "That's wonderful." The sentence was very short, only 4 words. But to the little boy, it was something big. Can I ask you another question? When was the last time you felt happy about one small English sentence? Adults often say, "It's only 1 sentence. It's only 1 word. I still have so much to learn." But children do not think that way. One new word is exciting. One clear sentence is wonderful. One small step is something to celebrate. Maybe we can learn from them. You do not have to wait until you speak perfect English. You do not have to wait until you understand every story. Celebrate today. Did you understand one new word? Smile. Did you finish one short story? Be proud. Did you speak 1 sentence? Celebrate it. Can I tell you one more thing? Small wins give us energy. They help us continue. Think about climbing a long mountain. If you only look at the top, you may feel tired. But sometimes, you can stop, look behind you, see how far you have walked, then smile. You are moving. You are growing. Children understand this naturally. They are happy with every small step. Maybe we should be too. So tonight, Think about one small thing you did well today. Only one. Maybe you listened. Maybe you read. Maybe you tried. Smile for that small win. Because small wins become big changes. One word at a time. One sentence at a time. One happy moment at a time. That is the fifth thing children do so well. They celebrate small wins. And those small wins help them keep going. The sixth thing children do well is very simple. They learn from everything around them. Can I ask you something? Where do you usually learn English? At a desk? With a book? In front of a computer? Those are good places to learn. But children do not learn in only one place. The whole world is their classroom. Can we think about one little girl? One morning, she walked to the market with her mother. On the way, she saw a big bus. "Bus," she said. Then she saw a red light. "Red!" A dog walked past them. "Dog!" She laughed. At the market, her mother picked up 3 apples. The girl counted them. 1, 2, 3. Then they walked to the bread shop. The girl smelled the warm bread. She smiled. "Bread!" Her mother laughed. "You are using English everywhere today." The little girl looked around. English is everywhere. Her mother smiled. "Yes, it is. Can I ask you another question? What if English is already around you too? Look at your room. A chair. A window. A door. A book. Look outside. A tree. A car. The sky. The sun. Everywhere you look, there is something you can learn. Children understand this naturally. They touch things. They see things. They hear things. Then they connect words to the world. Maybe we can learn the same way. When you make breakfast, think of one English word. Egg. Bread. Water. When you walk outside, look around. Blue sky. Big tree. Happy dog. You do not need to study for 1 hour. You can learn for one small moment. Then another. Then another. Can I tell you one more thing? English does not have to stay inside a book. Let it come outside. Let it walk with you. Let it sit beside you at breakfast. Let it go to the park with you. Let it become part of your day. Think about a bird. A bird does not learn to fly by reading about the sky. It opens its wings. It feels the wind. It tries. Maybe learning English can be like that. Open your eyes. Open your ears. Look around. Listen. Learn from the world. So tomorrow, find 5 English words around you. Do not search for difficult words. Find simple ones. Say them. Smile. Then continue your day. That is the 6th thing children do so well. They learn from everything around them. Because for a curious learner, the whole world can become a classroom. The 7th thing children do well may be the most important. They begin before they feel ready. Can I ask you something? Have you ever waited to start something? Maybe you thought, I need more time. I need to learn more. I'm not ready yet. Many adults wait, but children often do something different. Can we think about one little boy? He received a new bicycle. It was bright blue. He looked at it. He smiled. Then he asked his father, "Can I ride it?" His father laughed. "Do you know how?" The little boy shook his head. "No." His father smiled. "Then how will you ride?" The boy thought for a moment. Then he said, "I will try." So he got on the bicycle. He moved a little. Then he fell. He stood up. He tried again. He fell again. He laughed. "This is hard." His father smiled. "Do you want to stop?" The little boy shook his head. "No, I want to try again." Day after day, he practiced. Little by little, he fell less. He rode farther. Then one afternoon, his father let go of the bicycle. The little boy kept moving. He looked back. "I'm doing it." He laughed. "Can I ask you something?" When did the boy become ready? Before he got on the bicycle? No. He became ready while he was trying. English can be the same. You do not need to know every word before you listen. You do not need perfect grammar before you speak. You do not need confidence before you begin. Sometimes, confidence comes after you begin. Children understand this naturally. They try first. They learn next. Then they try again. Maybe we can do the same. Do not stand beside your English journey forever. Take one small step. Listen to one story. Read one page. Say one sentence. You may make a mistake. That is okay. You may feel nervous. That is okay too. Can I tell you one more thing? The first step is not supposed to be perfect. It is only supposed to begin. Think about a small boat. A boat cannot travel while it stays on the shore. It must move into the water. Your journey is the same. So do not wait for the perfect day. Do not wait for the perfect feeling. Use what you know. Start where you are. Take one small step, then another. That is the seventh thing children do so well. They begin before they feel ready. And while they keep trying, they quietly become ready. We have talked about 7 things children do well. They are curious. They learn through play. They ask simple questions. They use what they know. They celebrate small wins. They learn from the world around them. And they begin before they feel ready. Can I ask you something? Did you do these things when you were a child too? Maybe you did. So, what changed? Can we think about one young man? When he was a little boy, he loved learning new things. He asked many questions. Why is the sky blue? Where do birds go? How does this work? He was not afraid to ask. He was not afraid to try. When he learned something new, he smiled. When he made a mistake, he tried again. But years passed. The little boy became a young man. Something changed. Now, he wanted to do everything well. Before speaking English, he worried. What if I make a mistake? Before asking a question, he thought, maybe everyone knows this already. Before starting something new, he said, I need more time. One evening, he saw a little boy playing outside. The boy was trying to throw a ball into a basket. He threw the ball. He missed. He tried again. He missed again and again. But every time, the little boy ran after the ball. He smiled. He tried one more time. Finally, the ball went into the basket. The little boy jumped. I did it. The young man watched him. Then he smiled. He remembered something. A long time ago, he was like that too. Can I ask you another question? Maybe we do not forget how to learn. Maybe we simply forget how to enjoy learning. We become too worried, too serious, too afraid of mistakes. But the curious child inside us is not gone. Maybe that child is still waiting for us to ask one more question, to try one more time, to enjoy one small success. Can I tell you one more thing? Growing older teaches us many wonderful things. But sometimes, we also forget simple things. We forget to play. We forget to wonder. We forget to smile at small progress. Maybe learning English can help us remember. Tomorrow, when you open an English story, do not think only like a student. Look at the story with curious eyes. Listen with open ears. Ask simple questions. Smile when you understand one word. Try even when you are not ready. You do not need to become a child again. You only need to remember something you once knew. Learning can be joyful. Learning can be simple. And learning can begin with one small question. What can I discover today? Can I share one more story with you? There was a woman who had studied English for many years. She had many books. She knew many grammar rules. She had long lists of words. But learning English did not make her happy anymore. Every time she opened a book, she felt tired. Every time she heard a new word, she felt worried. One afternoon, she visited her sister. Her young niece was sitting on the floor. The little girl was watching a short English story. She did not understand every word, but she laughed. She pointed at the screen. Funny. A few minutes later, she heard a sentence she liked. She said it again. The first time was not clear. She laughed. Then she tried again. The woman watched quietly. After the story, she asked, "Wasn't that difficult?" The little girl looked surprised. What? The English story. The girl thought for a moment. Then she smiled. I don't know. It was fun. The woman became quiet. That evening, she thought about those words. It was fun. She remembered why she started learning English. She wanted to understand stories. She wanted to meet new people. She wanted to discover a bigger world. But somewhere along the way, she had forgotten the joy. The next morning, she did something different. She did not open her grammar book. She did not study a long list of words. She found one simple English story. She made a cup of tea. Then she sat by the window. She pressed play. At first, she wanted to stop at every new word. But she did not. She kept listening. One part made her smile. Another part made her laugh. When the story ended, she sat quietly for a moment. Then she whispered, I enjoyed that. Can I ask you something? Maybe that is where learning begins again. Not with a bigger plan, not with a harder book, but with one small moment of joy. Children know this. They return to the things they enjoy, again and again. And while they return, they grow. Maybe we can do the same. Find one story you love. Listen. Smile. Be curious. Do not worry about understanding everything. Just stay with the story. Can I tell you one more thing? Sometimes, the best way to move forward is to remember why you began. Maybe you began because English was interesting. Maybe you wanted to understand a song. Maybe you wanted to travel. Maybe you simply loved stories. Remember that feeling. Keep it close, because learning becomes easier when joy walks beside you. And maybe the child you once were already knew that. Can I ask you something? What would happen if you learned like a child for one day? Just one day. Can we think about one young man? He had studied English for a long time, but every morning, he followed the same plan. He opened a grammar book. He studied many rules. He wrote long lists of words. He worked hard, but he did not smile very often. One morning, He decided to try something different. He said, "Today I will learn like a child." First, he looked around his room. He saw a window, a chair, a clock, a small plant. He said each word in English. Then he smiled. "This is easy." A little later, he went outside. He saw a dog running in the park. Happy dog. He laughed. He saw a little bird. Small bird. Then he saw dark clouds. Rain is coming? His English was simple. Very simple. But he was using it. While walking, he heard an English song from a small cafe. He did not understand every word, but he liked the sound. So he listened. He smiled. He quietly repeated one short sentence. The first time. It sounded strange. He laughed. Then he tried again. "Can I ask you something?" Was he studying? Maybe. But it did not feel like studying. He was looking, listening, trying, enjoying, just like a child. That evening, he opened a short English story. Usually, he stopped at every new word. But today, he stayed curious. He asked, "What will happen next?" So he continued. At the end, he smiled. For the first time in a long time, English felt light again. Can I tell you one more thing? Sometimes we make learning too heavy. We carry too many rules, too many worries, too many big plans. But children carry something different. Curiosity, joy, courage. Maybe we can carry those things too. You do not need to change everything tomorrow. Try only one thing. Look around. Find one English word. Ask one question. Say one simple sentence. Smile at one small success. That is enough. Because learning like a child does not mean knowing less. It means being less afraid to learn. So tomorrow, give yourself one simple day. A day to look. A day to listen. A day to try. You may discover something you forgot a long time ago. Learning can feel good. Learning can feel natural. And sometimes, learning can simply make you smile. Can I share another small story with you? There was an older man. He had always wanted to learn English. But he often said, "I'm not good at languages." One day, his granddaughter came to visit. She was carrying a small English picture book. She sat beside him. "Grandpa, read with me." The man laughed. "I can't read English." The little girl opened the book. She pointed at a picture. "What is this?" The man looked. "A dog." The little girl smiled. "Yes." Then she pointed at another picture. "What is this?" "A tree." "Yes." The man laughed. "This is too easy." The little girl looked surprised. "Easy is good." The man became quiet. "Easy is good?" She nodded. "Then we can do more." So they continued. A cat. A house. A flower. The sun. Every time he answered, the little girl smiled. "Good job." After a few minutes, the man was smiling too. The next day, his granddaughter brought another book. This time, the sentences were a little longer. The man read slowly. Sometimes he stopped. Sometimes he made mistakes. But the little girl never looked worried. She simply said, "Try again." So he did. Day after day, they read together. One evening, the man closed the book. Then he said, "I think my English is getting better." The little girl smiled. "I know." The man laughed. "How did you know?" She answered, "Because you keep trying." Can I ask you something? Why do adults sometimes make learning so difficult? We think easy things are not enough. We think small steps are too small. But children know something important. Easy can become harder. One word can become one sentence. One sentence can become one story. One story can become one beautiful journey. Can I tell you one more thing? Never be ashamed of easy English. Easy English gives you a place to begin. It gives you confidence. It helps you continue. A small seed does not feel ashamed because it is not a tree. It simply grows. Maybe we can do the same. Begin small. Learn slowly. Enjoy simple stories. Celebrate easy sentences. Then come back tomorrow. You do not need to jump to the top of the mountain. You only need to take the next step. And then, one more. Children understand this naturally. Maybe we can remember it too. Easy is not something to be ashamed of. Easy is often where beautiful things begin. Can I ask you one more question? What is the best kind of English learner? Is it the learner who knows the most words? Is it the learner who never makes mistakes? Is it the learner who studies for many hours? Maybe not. Can we think about one little girl? She loved building towers with small blocks. One afternoon, she started building a very tall tower. She placed one block down, then another, then another. The tower grew taller. Suddenly, it fell. The blocks went everywhere. Her older brother looked at her. Oh no. But the little girl laughed. She picked up one block. Then she started again. Her brother looked surprised. You're not sad? The little girl thought for a moment. Then she said, I can build it again. So she did. The second tower fell too. Again. She started. The third tower was taller. The fourth tower was stronger. Little by little, she learned where to put each block. Finally, she built her tallest tower. She clapped her hands. I did it! Can I ask you something? What made her a good learner? Was it because she never failed? No. She failed many times. Was it because she knew everything? No. She learned while she was building. The answer is simple. She kept coming back. Maybe the best English learner is the same. Not the perfect learner. Not the fastest learner. But the learner who returns. The learner who listens again. The learner who asks again. The learner who tries again. Children do this naturally. They fall. They stand. They forget. They learn again. They do not need a perfect journey. They only need another chance to try. Maybe we can learn from them. If today's story is difficult, come back tomorrow. If you forget a word, meet it again. If your sentence is not perfect, smile and try one more time. Can I tell you one more thing? You do not need to win every day. You only need to keep learning. Think about the little tower. Every time it fell, the girl learned something new. Every new tower became a little stronger. Your English is growing the same way. Every mistake teaches you. Every story gives you something. Every new day gives you another chance. So do not ask, am I the best learner? Ask, will I come back tomorrow? If the answer is yes, then you are already doing something wonderful. Because the strongest learners are not the learners who never fall. They are the learners who always begin again. Before we finish our story, can we stay together for one more moment? Think about the child you once were. Maybe that child loved asking questions. Maybe that child enjoyed simple games. Maybe that child laughed at small things when something was new. You looked closer when something was difficult. You tried again when you learned one small thing. You smiled. Then you grew older. Life became busier. Learning became more serious. Mistakes became scary. Simple questions became difficult to ask. And somewhere along the way, maybe you forgot how naturally you once learned. Can we imagine one quiet room? Inside the room, there is an old box. You open it. Inside, you find small things from your childhood. An old toy, a little book, a picture you drew many years ago. You pick up the picture. The lines are not perfect. The colors are outside the lines. But you smile. Why? Because the child who made that picture was not worried about being perfect. That child simply wanted to create something. Maybe learning English can be like that too. You do not need perfect lines. You do not need perfect words. You do not need a perfect plan. You only need the courage to begin, the curiosity to look closer, the joy to continue. Can I tell you something? The child you once were is not gone. That curious heart is still inside you. Maybe it has been quiet for a long time, but it is still there. It still wants to discover new things. It still wants to ask questions. It still wants to smile at small victories. Maybe tomorrow, you can listen to that voice again. Open one simple story. Do not worry about the difficult words. Ask, what happens next? Say one sentence. Do not worry about your mistake. Smile and say it again. Learn one new word. Do not say, it's only one word. Say, I know something today that I did not know yesterday. Can I ask you one last question? What if learning English does not need a new you? What if you only need to remember the learner you once were? Curious, brave, happy to try. Maybe that is enough. Maybe it has always been enough. So keep your questions, keep your curiosity, keep your joy, and keep that small child inside you close. Because sometimes, the best teacher is not someone standing in front of you. Sometimes, the best teacher is the person you used to be, the child who is never afraid to learn. Before we say goodbye, I would like to thank you. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for learning. And thank you for staying curious. Today, we talked about 7 things children do well. They ask questions. They play. They use what they know. They celebrate small wins. They learn from the world. They begin before they feel ready. And most importantly, they keep trying. Can I ask you one final question? Which one will you remember tomorrow? Maybe you will ask one simple question. Maybe you will enjoy one English story. Maybe you will say one sentence with the words you already know. Maybe you will smile because you learned one small thing. Whatever you choose, let it be simple. You do not need to change everything in one day. Children do not grow in one day. A tree does not grow in one day. A river does not reach the sea in one day. Beautiful things take time. Your English is the same. It is growing quietly. One word, one sentence, one story, one day at a time. Sometimes, you may feel tired. Sometimes, you may make mistakes. Sometimes, you may think you are moving too slowly. When that happens, remember the child learning to ride a bicycle. Remember the girl building her tower. Remember the grandfather reading his first easy book. They did not need to be perfect. They only needed to continue. Can I tell you one final thing? You do not need to become a child again. You only need to remember how a child learns. With curiosity, with courage, with joy. So tomorrow, look at English with open eyes. Listen with open ears. Ask simple questions. Use simple words. Celebrate small steps. And when something feels difficult, try one more time. Maybe you will make a mistake. That is okay. Maybe you will understand only a little. That is okay too, because a little can become more. A small step can become a long journey, and one simple story can become the beginning of something beautiful. Thank you for letting me walk beside you today. I hope you keep learning. I hope you keep asking questions. I hope you keep finding joy in simple things. And most of all, I hope you never forget the curious learner inside you. Keep listening. Keep trying. Keep smiling. One question at a time. One story at a time. One beautiful day at a time. See you in the next story.